Hello everyone, it's Pelicandude, and today I thought I'd bring you my impressions of Titanfall, considering it happens to be the release day of Titanfall, or at least it is when I'm making/uploading this. So, in general, it's great. It's really fun. It's good. So get a little more specific, obviously, because we don't need someone making a video to tell us that. But basically, it's a very unique game. So the plan is, by the way, for this impressions video, I'm making this impressions video on release day, and then I'm going to be making probably a more advanced video in a week, and then probably more of a finalized review type video in a month, because I feel like to make a Titanfall review on the first day would just be silly, because we don't know how the game is played out and evolved yet. But I think it'll be interesting to kind of compare first day impressions to, 1 week in to a month in, where I feel like at the 1 month point I'll have probably had enough hands-on experience to make a more accurate review of everything that's going on in the game. So with that being said, let's get into Titanfall, some of the good and the bad and stuff like that. So it's hard to describe exactly. It's a lot of fun. I've already said that, but it's very different than pretty much anything else we've ever had. So it's very smooth, and it's got gunplay and combat that reminds me a lot of the time of Call of Duty, just in the nature of it. But it feels almost like they took Call of Duty, alright, and then they actually evolved it. Instead of just like repackaging it and adding a couple kill streaks or whatever, they actually changed it into a completely new genre type thing. I don't even know. It's still a first-person shooter, obviously, but it's like first-person parkour mech warrior. I don't even know what you'd call it. Because, Call of Duty, that's the thing we've been saying, is that it's smooth, and I just wish there was something that had, that COD feel to it that's really fun, but wasn't the same, because, I feel like Black Ops 2 was pushing it almost, like, they did a good job with it, but then Ghosts just, Black Ops 2, even though they did a good job with it, I should say, I think a lot of people were already getting a little sick of it, but Black Ops 2 was good enough to survive one more year, and then with Ghosts, it just kind of finally came to a head where it's like, you guys, I don't know what you're doing, you have no innovation here. And I think that a lot of people are probably looking for, okay, is there a game that feels really similar to COD and the whole smoothness and the gunplay and stuff like that, but is different, that really, really, really is truly unique and different in some way that's fun? And then here we are on March 11th of 2014. This is 4 or 5 months after Ghosts came out, and we have Titanfall. So Titanfall is probably going to appeal most, if I had to guess, to COD players, and it makes sense. If you look at the people who developed this game, it's a lot of the old Infinity Ward guys that left right after Modern Warfare 2 came out because of the whole lawsuit deal. So it makes sense that we have a lot of similarities to COD. But they did a lot right, and they changed a lot. So, just the balance of this game. The Titans, there's a couple maps, it's mainly the open maps, where I feel like the Titans are overpowered. And that makes sense, okay? Because if you really want to think about it, Titans are these giant armored murdering machines, more or less. And so on an open map where pilots don't have a lot of cover, they're just going to absolutely destroy, because there's nowhere for the pilots to hide, and you're just going to be pounded by 40mm cannons and rockets and all the various Titan weapons that you have available to you, or just get stepped on. That's fun. But in a map like this is one of my favorite maps so far, corporate here. This is a really cool map, I think, and this is actually one of the more balanced maps where Titans are useful, but then since a lot of the stuff is inside, that the actual pilots are still remaining very powerful. And that's something else to point out, is that pilots are a very credible threat to a Titan. So a pilot is going to be able to, especially if you can rodeo attack. Rodeo attacking a Titan is just, that guy's got to find a way to get you off of there, because if not, that Titan's going to be dead in about 15 seconds, more or less, 10 to 15 seconds. especially with a shotgun, will do tremendous amounts of damage if you rodeo attack and you've got a shotgun. So pilots really are a credible threat. So pilots and Titans feel very balanced, unless, of course, you get caught out in the open, and then you have stuff like Cloak, where you can kind of hide. Although if they just spray around with their 40mm, they probably are gonna damage you somewhat. But yeah, in terms of balance, it's really good. The weapon balance feels alright right now. There's one thing I will say: the submachine gun, the first one you unlock, the submachine gun is. I don't like it at all. I feel like the damage is just incredibly terrible. Maybe that's just me, but it really just does feel completely awful as far as the amount of damage it does. Not so much up close, but the drop-off on it is so fast that if you're shooting at someone and they're any distance away from you other than really close range, it's basically useless. Like, you have to empty an entire mag into them in order to get something going on for you, which is pretty frustrating. So maybe that one could probably use a bit of a buff in terms of not close-up damage, but maybe drop-off damage. I'd like to see it a little bit less drop-off damage. And then this assault rifle you're probably going to see a ton of, because it's not overpowered, I don't think, but it's such a great little jack-of-all-trades type weapon. I love it with this. I believe it's an AOG scope. It kind of is reminiscent of like an ACOG in the Battlefield or Call of Duty games. And it's kind of like that scope that's not really like a sniper scope or whatever, but it's, you know, a scope that is on your assault rifle more or less, where it's not full-fledged zoom sniper style, but it allows you some decent amount of zoom just with that little sight. So I think it's probably going to be one of the more useful optics in my opinion, because this game has quite a few long-range pilot-on-pilot engagements due to the scale of the map. And then it can be a little annoying if the enemy gets too close, but I still find that it's actually still pretty usable even at close range. And then at super close range, you're obviously going to be firing from the hip a lot, so it doesn't really matter too much. Plus, the handguns in this game they're not overpowered, they're just very nice to use in my opinion. So if someone gets in too close to you, you can whip out one of those and it'll work nicely. In terms of variety, I like how they kept it simple. So a lot of people were saying, oh, I can't wait till, because this game came out in beta, and I didn't have access to the beta, but I watched a lot of gameplay of it, and a lot of people were saying, oh, I hope that we're going to get, a lot more variety where we'll have like 5 or 6 guns in each class and stuff like that. I don't see the reason for that, and, it came out and we have like 2 guns in each class. I don't see anything wrong with having only 2 guns and 3 guns in each class, because if you really want to think about it, like, usually when there was 5 or 6 guns, or, in Call of Duty, Call of Duty seemed to have 10 guns in the assault rifle class always, so realistically not all of them would get used. So I think that only having 2 or 3 of them doesn't subtract from the gameplay, especially since we have Titans. Like, if this was only pilot on pilot, I might have wanted to see more guns, just to spice it up a little bit, but since we have Titans in here adding to that, and we have so many more things than just the guns that are affecting the battle, like, that is one of the last things I was honestly thinking about, is like, I'd have my assault rifle, and that's what I used a lot, but in terms of what gun I was using, that was not usually something I thought about, except for like how ranged it was. It wasn't like, okay, what assault rifle or what submachine gun. It's just like, oh, how far away can this gun be used? Like a shotgun, obviously you want to stay close and control the engagement to get guys close to you. And the assault rifle is just good pretty much anywhere, which is kind of the point of it. But just in general, I feel like even though there's not a huge amount of guns, it doesn't matter, because there's so many other things that add variety to it. And then I'll, to finish off this review, because I can't believe I've already burned through so much of this gameplay. But anyway, basically, like, the thing that's probably the biggest deal, in my opinion, the thing that this game changed the most, is not the Titans. The Titans are cool. The Titans are really fun, don't get me wrong. But I think that one of the major things this game is going to be remembered for, so to speak, or is going to be unique for and stand out for, is the maneuver gear, the parkour, the wall running, the no fall damage, all that stuff. And I'm still getting used to it. I still find myself, taking the stairs. I still find myself doing stuff like that you know, is pointless, really. Like, a lot of times when there's stairs in this game, don't take the stairs, just wall run up the wall next to the stairs. It will literally be faster than taking the stairs. Stuff like that you can do. You know, just the maneuver gear changes a lot of the aspects of this game, and I think that it's generally for the better, and it allows for swift movement and not really camping. If you think this is camping, whatever, you're entitled to your own opinion. I consider this holding down an area, and camping would be if I just sat in one corner, but since I felt like I was moving around that entire building there, I don't consider that camping. Whatever, you can complain at me in the comments if you want. But yes, so in general, guys, maybe it's a little early to tell. It's the first day, and it's only 4:51 p.m. on the first day, I guess. But I'm giving Titanfall probably an A right now. Maybe not an A+, maybe just an A-, we'll say, for right now, because I don't want to sound too overconfident or whatever, but for right now, Titanfall's getting an A- for me, a solid score, in my opinion. It's probably the best first-person shooter that I've played in a very long time. So there you go, guys. That's my thought of Titanfall. It's great. It's balanced. It's fun. Play carefully. Don't just run around like an idiot, or you will die all the time. Trust me, I know from experience. But yes, Titanfall is awesome. So with that, thank you for watching, guys, and I hope that you have a nice day.